Quan Hongchan, a 17-year-old Chinese girl, won the women's 10-meter platform gold medal at the just concluded Paris Olympics, becoming the youngest 3 gold medal winner in Chinese Olympic history. Her various videos have become material for China's external propaganda and are widely circulated on social platforms. Senior Japanese media person Akio Yaita commented that behind the aura of success of Quan Hongchan, there are thousands of tragic stories of families and children. Why do we say this? The whole world knows that China's sports system is based on a nationwide system at the expense of huge financial and material resources to create Olympic and world champions. According to relevant statistics, a gold medal in China costs about 700 million yuan. What is the concept of 700 million? This is more than the revenue of 9 poor countries. Under such a system, thousands of boys and girls have received devilish and crazy training since childhood. Deliberately suppressing physical growth and losing all the fun of childhood, children are scarred at a young age, and some even end up with lifelong disabilities. Let's first talk about Quan Hongchan's true story. In March 2007, she was born in the rural area of Zhangjiang, Guangdong, China. The local per capita annual income is only 11,000 yuan, and her family's income is even lower than the local minimum living standard. Her mother was unable to work normally due to a car accident in her early years. Because of her poor family background, she entered a sports school to learn diving at the age of 7. After 7 years of extremely arduous daily training, she participated in the Tokyo Olympics in 2021. Quan Hongchan, who was only 14 years old, became a blockbuster and won the Tokyo Olympics 10-meter platform women's diving championship. At the press conference, Quan Hongchan was under the attention of the whole world. At such a young age, she was not particularly good at talking. She snickered shyly occasionally when answering questions, and sometimes she couldn't think of what to say. Her diving movements are very mature, but mentally she is still completely a child. Her words were natural and unvarnished. She has not mastered the thank you words that Chinese athletes are used to and must use, and she has not thanked the country and the party. She directly expressed that she worked hard to win the championship in order to earn money for her mother's medical treatment. My mother is sick, but I don't know how to pronounce that word. What disease does she have? Then I really wanted to make money and go back to treat her. I need to make a lot of money to cure my mother. Quan Hongchan didn't talk big, but she told the truth. She directly equated gold medals with money. When she was interviewed and couldn't even pronounce the name of her mother's illness, her words actually revealed a secret. She simply didn't have time to study at all. Behind her innocence and purity is a cruel world. Her daily training is extremely difficult, and she does not have the happiness that her peers have. She has not even been to an amusement park or a zoo. I've been in China, and sometimes I just go to the competition during the competitions. I can only go home during the holidays. When I go home, I don't go anywhere else to play, so I can only stay at home. I have never been to an amusement park or a zoo. After the Olympics, I wanted to play games, play catch, and go to the amusement park. Before Quan Hongchan won the championship, no one cared about her. But after she became famous, her home in rural Zhangjiang, Guangdong province suddenly came to her home with all kinds of unknown elders from her hometown, government officials, relatives, and friends, and they came to congratulate. Representatives from the Zhangjiang Municipal Health Bureau and the hospital went to the ward to express their condolences to Quan Hongchan's grandfather, saying that they would provide comprehensive medical protection for her grandfather and mother. She is only 17 years old, but she says she no longer feels young. She has to practice 7 to 8 hours a day to win the championship. I was young too, but I can never feel young again. The movements are getting heavier and heavier, and I feel less relaxed. Some movements are done very low, not as high as before. Maybe it was my weight, but seeing this put me in a bad mood all afternoon. I wonder if the action will be impossible to complete when diving. Sometimes I also wonder what will happen if I don't practice well today. Today is another special action that needs to be completed. At that time, I was very afraid of falling, but now I am not afraid, just fall. I liked sports very much when I was a child, but now I feel that it's more than just love. If you go out to compete, you will represent a country, and you will work hard to do it. I think diving 7 or 8 hours a day is still worth it. So what exactly is China's national sports system? Let's give you an introduction. China's sports system is rooted in the Soviet model. It relies on the state to identify tens of thousands of children and send them to more than 2,000 government-run sports schools for full-time training. To maximize gold medals, the government focuses on lesser-known sports underfunded in the West or those with multiple Olympic gold medals that can be won. Nearly 75% of China's total Olympic gold medals since 1984 are concentrated in 6 sports: table tennis, shooting, diving, badminton, gymnastics, and weightlifting. This is not a coincidence, but the Beijing government's deliberate development in sports. More than 2/3 of China's gold medals are won by female champions, and nearly 70% of the delegation that participated in the Tokyo Olympics were women. In the 1988 Olympics, China won 5 gold medals. In 2008, at the Olympic Games hosted by Beijing, China surpassed the US and became the country with the most gold medals. However, China's performance at the 2012 London Olympics was unsatisfactory, and its performance in Rio in 2016 was even more disappointing. The total number of medals won ranked 3rd after the US and Britain. Over the past few decades, China has formed a set of so-called nationwide systems in which the state is responsible, government departments are in charge, and finance is in charge of supply. The entire sports system's core goal is to win gold medals in the Olympic Games to reflect the Communist Party's so-called advancedness. Under the so-called game of chess across the country, each province and city should focus on developing projects that have the opportunity to win international competitions and Olympic gold medals. Every athlete, every province, and city must conform to the CCP's overall plan and achieve the unified goal of winning Olympic gold medals. The authorities have also set up thousands of sports schools in various provinces and cities in China. These schools select future Olympic champions from children as young as 4 and 5 years old, especially children from rural areas or poor family conditions. Because they are more able to endure hardship and hard work, and in fierce competition, the success of each Olympic champion means the failure of thousands of other children. Thousands of athletes have been eliminated due to fierce competition, and their education level has been very low since childhood. Most have suffered physical injuries, have few employment prospects outside the sports system, and life is often difficult. Even if they win Olympic gold medals, their experiences after retirement are deplorable. One example is that of Zhou Chunlan, a former national weightlifting champion who fell into poverty after retirement and relied on a job in a public bathhouse to make a living. She also grew a beard, which she said was the result of the hormones she was forced to take when she was young. Her family life was very difficult. Her parents were migrant workers, and the family made a living by farming. But she had shown amazing sports talent since she was a child. Because she is stronger than her peers, she was noticed by the physical education teacher. At that time, she was able to lift 90 pounds when she lifted a barbell for the first time and was eventually sent to the provincial team for professional training. She originally thought that she could change her current destiny through sports. Unexpectedly, she still can't escape the arrangement of fate. Zhou Chunlan trained very hard in the provincial team and engaged in high-intensity daily exercises. Finally, her hard work paid off and she won competitions one after another. Winning 9 gold medals in a national weightlifting championship, she became a leading figure at the time and felt unprecedented honor and pride. She thought she had a stable job, but didn't expect it to end as soon as it started. Because she continued to challenge high difficulties and physical limits in training, she suffered many injuries. In 1993, she had to announce her retirement early, ending her short 6-year sports career. After retiring, she faced unemployment and quickly fell into a financial crisis. Many people wondered why she didn't get married at such a young age. In fact, this was the crux of the problem and the beginning of the nightmare. After she retired, she found that she gradually became uglier, her voice became thicker, and she looked at herself like a man. Only then did she realize something was wrong. The coach often gave them a tonic at the time, and she thought it would strengthen her body but didn't think much of it. However, that was the cause of her physical changes. Later, she faced the pressure of life and had to give in to life and choose to make a living as a bather in a public bathhouse. At that time, her income was less than RMB 500 yuan. Although countries all over the world have invested in the Olympic Games, it's quite rare for them to be completely state-led like China. In contrast, Australia, which performed well at the Olympics, had only about a quarter of last year's Olympic funding allocated to the government. American athletes do not receive government funding but rely on private sponsorship, charity, broadcast revenue, and endorsements. According to a report in the 8th issue of Global Financial Observer, in 2004, on the eve of the Athens Olympics, the state allocated approximately RMB 5.7 billion between 2001 and 2004. At those Olympics, China won 32 gold medals. The average value of each gold medal was RMB 178 million. Qian Kui, coach of the national gymnastics team, said from 2001 to 2003, the national gymnastics team's annual cost was RMB 20 million. This was only the training cost and did not include the construction costs of sports venues. According to data from a research paper in 2022, in 2018, the total financial investment in sports nationwide was RMB 47.12 billion, of which provincial investment was RMB 42.95 billion, accounting for 91.1%. In 2019, the total financial investment in sports nationwide was RMB 46.29 billion yuan, of which provincial investment was RMB 45.81 billion, accounting for 98.9%. In the previous Olympic Games, the cost of the 2 Olympic Games held in Beijing was huge. The 2008 Beijing Summer Olympics reached $52.7 billion, although the official budget of the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics was $3.9 billion if it includes the Olympic Village, highways, railways, and airports, etc. The actual cost of related infrastructure spending may be $38.5 billion. So far, China is second only to the United States in the number of gold medals it has won in previous Olympic Games. But Olympic gold medals have not brought reputation to the CCP. The Pew Research Center recently released a poll showing that China has a very negative reputation around the world. A median of 67% of the global public holds a negative view of China. China sent 716 athletes to compete in 30 sports, 42 sub-events, and 236 events in this Paris Olympics. According to China Central Television, this is the Olympic Games with the largest number of overseas participating events. However, compared with the number of athletes, there are more than 2,000 Chinese production, broadcasting, and technical service teams in Paris and more than 300 members of the forward reporting team. Xinhua News Agency also sent more than 200 people to France for reporting. No other country can compare with the number of people. On July 12th, China Central Radio and Television held a departure ceremony for the Paris reporting team. Although so many media outlets have concentrated their coverage on the Olympics, the Chinese people do not go for it. Since the establishment of the Chinese national team, attention has continued to decline. The only hot topic was that the Chinese national team brought its own air conditioners to Paris, which triggered criticism from netizens that it was extravagant and a waste of taxpayers' money. Many people believe that gold medals are meaningless compared with people's livelihoods. After 3 years of brutal epidemic control and economic downturn, college students have become unemployed, middle class and small businesses have gone bankrupt, white-collar workers have seen salary cuts, and countless real estate owners are struggling with debt. On the one hand, the CCP spends much taxpayer money to win gold medals. On the other hand, when the economy is not good, it's unwilling to give money to the people. One netizen wrote, "What does winning a gold medal have to do with us people?" Another netizen responded, "This money might as well be used to improve people's lives. How much does it cost for so many people to go there? It would be great to give subsidies to the unemployed. What's the use of a national system just for a few medals? Paying more attention to people's livelihood and food safety is better than these useless things." Some netizens wrote, "No matter how many Olympic gold medals you win, you still can't afford medical treatment, and you still can't pay home and car loans. If you are alive, you will still be cattle and horses in the prosperous times, cannon fodder in troubled times, and your bodies will become consumable after death. The economy is so bad that we can't even handle food safety. Who cares about this? Even if you get 100 Olympic gold medals, none of them can compare to the shock caused by the body theft and selling case to the people." Some netizens said, "If you can get 100 gold medals, can you give me back my battery car? I still want to do takeout." Chen Kai, a former member of the Chinese national basketball team and sports coach, said the Olympic gold medals have nothing to do with the people's livelihoods, but they want to brainwash you to pay attention to these gold medals, these big projects, and big plans, and forget to think carefully about the CCP. It's an illegitimate regime. How can an autocratic country without elections have the concept of taxpayers? All the money of the Chinese people has been robbed. Chinese people were played for a sucker. He also said that it's a political and cultural form that deceives people and is all deception. When people wake up from this deception, the regime will collapse because it's based on lies.